Sorry, we're running a little late, but it's coming.
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye. She's off to college. I'm gonna miss you.
Oh, you'll see me tomorrow.
I will see you tomorrow. Hey, Butch. Say hi to Butch.
Hi.
Hey, guys. What's up, Steve? How's everybody doing? Okay. All right. Off to college. I'll see you tomorrow.
Why do you say it like that?
I don't know. Because it's not home.
Can't you just say off to school?
Off to school. Yeah. Off to school with you. Learn something, will you?
I don't want to.
All right. What's up, Danny?
Subscribe to my channel.
Goodbye. All right. I get the squeaky chair today.
Hey, Jason.
Hi.
Jason, say hi.
Hey, Tula. Butch says hi, Tula.
I can. I'm in college. I can read.
Dang. All right, guys. It's Monday. You know what that means? What does that mean, Fernando?
That means it's like
Ginger ale time.
ginger ale time.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Tony. How's it going, buddy? Hope you had a good time in Vegas. And speaking of Vegas,
yes,
I have this hat on because John just gave it to me, which means John is here. For those of you that caught the last show of 2017, Ola from Hawaii.
Hello.
Aloha, not
Hey.
Ola.
I don't know why I
sure.
said aloha. Anyways, and James, what's up, buddy? Okay. Yes, that's cool. Dean owns a
from
hat.
UK.
Dean owns several hats.
Tony from UK.
Because Dean had... Oh, hey, say hi to Tony. Say hi to Tony. Hi, Tony. Okay. So, anyways, the reason... as I was saying, if you caught the last show of 2017, we had John on.
Yeah.
John is our rep for...
Alpine, Kicker, Hertz, Audison.
Viper.
Yep.
He's back today. He just got back from CES. He had such a good time. He's like, dudes, I want to come back. I want to talk about all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
And he's lying. Okay, let's just bring him out. Let's get going. Hi, Haley. Oh, you saw that. Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see it from your angle.
How you doing, John?
All right, John.
Good,
Thanks
man.
for coming,
Good to see
buddy.
you.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
All right, I'm taking off the hat.
Hey.
Oh, you started with it, huh? Okay, I just step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'll get you to embrace the security platform.
Oh, I love the hat. I'll wear
Hello
the
from
hat all the time.
Norway.
Hey, what's going on?
Yep.
All right, so let's get started. We got a lot of talking to do. We will get to questions. Keep chiming in. Let us know where you're from. Clint says hi, John.
Hello, Clint.
He's a regular. A lot of these guys are regulars. Couple questions we want to ask before we get to talking to John. One of them is this show right here is a lot of talking. A lot of talking means you don't necessarily need video. We're always going to do the video. We're always going to have this. However, we would like to know if any of you would like this just rebroadcast as a podcast so that you could download it and, because the show's like an hour and 10 minutes long. Jason says welcome back. He's from Stereo Kings out in the great northern Florida.
Oregon.
Yeah,
Florida, really?
Anyways,
Okay.
talking. So, what we'd like to know is that if
Countdown.
you guys would like this as a podcast as well, because we put it on. It's Facebook Live today. Tomorrow it goes up on YouTube, but it's still an hour long, and it's mainly just us talking. So it would make for a great podcast. So if you guys are interested in that, let us know. You can tell us in the comments and whatnot, and because we're thinking about that maybe for this year, turning this into a podcast as well. I mean, why not, right? It's like, hey, how many hours in the day can I spend on this?
Yes, podcast.
Okay.
Yes, great idea.
And obviously
Hello
that
from
would lead
Sweden.
to us probably doing some other form of a podcast, but we'll take it baby steps as usual because, hey,
Yeah.
I just want to use that microphone. Yes, I do. I bought this Nessie microphone. I'm just dying to try. Okay,
like
so
a cat.
podcast seems like it's going to be popular. All right, so keep letting us know. Let us know where you're from. John, how was CES?
That was my 32nd year attending CES. And,
God, you're old.
I am old. And I see, there's nothing that's revolutionary to the industry, but there's a lot of really cool things, a lot of vendors, a lot of people you get to know, like your people here. You get to know them, you get a relationship with them, you enjoy it, and I want to say probably one of the points I'll say that I encountered was the car manufacturers are bringing a lot of new cars, a lot of technology to CES, and it's surprising what they're doing.
Now, the only reason why I'm laughing is because I had a conversation with Bill Freeman today.
Okay.
And he said the exact same thing you just said, but he just summed it up was going, dude, they had self-driving cars there.
Autonomous cars all over the place.
And my response was, as you know, Kenwood came out with their new screen, which this is the only time we're going to talk about a competitor. They came out with that new screen, the 1280 by 720 screen, and I go, in my southern voice, go, hey man, we came out with a brand new touchscreen. Hey man, we came out with a self-driving car. Where does our industry go? Okay, so anyways, let's talk about Alpine.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about Alpine because I want to get it over with so that we can talk about Kicker.
Okay.
Okay, because Kicker came out with a really cool product.
Yep.
So first off, let's talk about the Alpine's big announcement, which you'd shared with me previous, and we've talked about it on the show at least half dozen times.
Yeah.
The Halo.
Yes.
Halo 9-inch.
How was it?
The piece is awesome. And I think that you're going to see a lot of the new car manufacturers where if you go and look at cars today, they have that floating type display. Okay. Now you can go and let's go back and understand restyle.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of customers came to Alpine and said, "Hey, I see all these restyle units, but you don't make one for one of my vehicles."
Correct.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody wanted a bigger display, and now they didn't make it. Well, now we have a universal DIN-sized 9-inch, and now you have the ability to go after whether it's a new Toyota. How about a brand new F-150?
Or a Camaro.
Or a Camaro. You can put a single DIN in and now put the biggest display that you could potentially.
Okay, now you say the biggest display, and I'm gonna hit you with this one
All right,
because
here we go.
you also represent this other company that came out with a 10-inch.
Correct. So there's other products that are out there with a bigger display. Keep in mind, it's an A-tier vendor that gives you the ability to have CarPlay and Android Auto.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Where maybe there's other vendors out there that have a larger display but don't have the feature content.
Well, yeah, and don't get me wrong. You know how I feel about that particular brand. So
Understood.
I mean, it's not a competitor, but it's just wow.
There's listen, from a consumer's perspective, he can go on the internet and go and find several larger displays out there, but is the feature content he really likes? Is it going to be satellite radio compatible?
It has
things like that.
HDMI input and all that
Correct.
stuff. So, no, everyone is really excited about it. So a couple questions. Obviously, it doesn't have any form of fiber optic or digital or any output like that, which we already figured out. That brings me to the next question. Was that a topic at all that anyone was mentioning out there with all this high res, blah, 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 and the DSP and all that? Did anybody bring up that? Was anybody spewing that output style, like a Toshlink or a fiber optic or?
I did hear it, but not at the velocity that you would expect it to be, right?
Okay.
So the question always is, will high res audio become mainstream? I thought about this after we did this last this live event,
right.
And I was leaving here and I had a long drive, and I said, it's been a question where Electromedia Audison Hertz has product that can do fiber optics in.
Yes.
Right. So they go back to your listeners and your viewers, and you say, what do you use for your media content? What is the majority use for a media content? Are they using Tidal, which we discussed, or is it Pandora, is it Spotify? What is the media content your viewers predominantly use?
Well, since we have a teenager here, Haley, what do you listen to?
I wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
What? If you're listening to music, what source are you listening to? Pandora on your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Pandora or Spotify.
What does Clarissa listen to?
She doesn't.
She doesn't listen to music at all?
Spotify if she has
Spotify?
Yeah.
What about Cheyenne?
She doesn't have a radio.
Okay, but here's the question.
There we go.
Are they paying for the premium service, or are they receiving the
No,
free
they're just using the hey, Bill just says hi, John.
Hey, Bill, where is he at? Why isn't he here?
He's next week.
Next week?
He's next week. Right now we have him slated for next week.
Cool.
Quick question on the Halo. How much? What's suggested retail on it?
$899.
$899.
So there you go. That was a question.
Okay, so
suggested retail.
Jason said, can you adjust the height of the screen up and down on the Halo?
When you install it, right? When you install it, it is set so that it can be installed whether it's on the top or on the bottom of the DIN chassis, and you can adjust it up to 45 degrees, right? So it is, once the installer sets it, it can't be moved. It's not like you put it in and you can adjust
So
it.
you have to adjust it before you actually...
Prior to delivery, right? Once it's set, and then it's set.
So it's kind of like the backup camera. We aim it, lock it in place,
and then
it's set.
Correct.
Okay. That makes sense. The other product that Alpine came out with that was really nice was, well, they came out with 2 new amplifiers.
The small KTP, yes.
Okay, so now are those going to be like the current brick amplifier just on steroids? What's the story
it's
there?
It's an improved technology over the 445U technology that they're using.
All right.
And also will be in a position where it will be in a multi-environment. Like, so they offer it in a kit for the Jeep that will go in the dashboard where the factory amplifier is installed,
right?
But will come with the connectors that will make it weatherproof. I'm not going to tell you could submerge it, but it's going to be weatherproof.
Does it have a conformal coated board? Do we know?
I'm not 100% sure, but it could be just based on the way they're presenting it to us. Yes,
I would hope. So there's 2 models. Do you remember what the 2 models were?
Yeah, I can grab the book and tell you. You know, can it be stolen? I want to answer that. I think anything can be grabbed and broken. It's going to mount. It's got
a hell of a metal mount.
Well, yeah, and they tell you to ISO mount it
screwed into the side.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So can somebody break the display off? Yes.
Cool. All right. So.
Well, I mean, anything can be stolen.
Oh yeah.
All right, so back to the 2 little brick amplifiers.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's like a 45 by 4 and
no,
probably
it's,
a 300
you
by
might
1.
I'll grab my book.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so...
You want to sit in for John real quick? in the place of John will be played by
All right,
Haley.
so Martin say, Dean,
yes.
When running through the epicenter, do I have to keep the filter off on the subwoofer out?
Everyone that we've done, we've turned the subwoofer crossover on, but they say, okay, so if you're feeding it, so like if you're coming from a radio into the epicenter, that crossover should be off. The crossover on the amp should be on. That's how that should be set up. So radio, no crossover, amplifier crossover. So you should be feeding that the full range signal.
What is your opinion on the new Type S speakers?
Oh, okay. We were going to get to that, so hold that thought. Let's finish this amplifier.
All right.
Okay, so the new KTA amplifiers is a 4x 75 watt Class D amplifier. Okay, at a 2 ohm or a 4 ohm, looks like it's a.
Oh yeah. It looks like a PDX.
Yep. So, but it doesn't indicate anything about being conformally coated other than the weather-resistant IP66 connectors, wiring harness, and speaker RCA inputs. So there you go.
Okay, and then it's a 300 watt. What's the second one?
Yeah,
300 by 1.
300 by 1.
All right, so 75 by 4, and then a 300 by 1.
Yep.
And hopefully next year we'll get a 5-channel.
With a built-in crossover.
All right,
cool.
We don't have to get deep into that. I just wanted to cover that. And since we're S-type, did you hear the S-type?
I did listen to some of the speakers, obviously, on their platform. Sounds good.
Well, I mean, you had S-types in the Jeep before.
Had S, went to the R.
And so you know what an S-type sounds like.
Yeah.
Could you tell? I mean, it's okay if you can't.
I don't think I could tell because there was no A/B comparison.
Okay.
But obviously, they're not as higher power handling as the Type R.
No.
But they sounded decent. Right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not.
I mean, my feeling with that speaker is they have nowhere to go but up.
Agreed.
Because yeah. Okay. Now.
One more question. This is good. James actually asked, new Alpine DSP.
And I was just getting ready to ask that. James, you're killing me, buddy. James, okay, real quick about James. For those of you guys who don't know, James runs a channel called...
Car Stereo, etc.
Yes. And he's out of...
New Zealand. Yeah.
So, listen, James is at like 9,100. So what I need you guys to do is go to his YouTube channel, Car Stereo, etc.
Yeah.
And I'm probably saying that wrong. And subscribe. Because we need to get him to 10,000. That was his goal. He wants to get to 10,000. So do us a big favor. Head over there. If you're already subscribed to his channel, just throw him up some thumbs up. Give him some love. Yep. Otherwise, subscribe to his channel, please. That would be great. Okay. Tell me about the DSP.
So currently it is a model that's manufactured for another Alpine partner.
Okay.
And Alpine,
it's available in Japan.
Correct. So then Alpine USA sees it and says... Looks like something our market could use. And
definitely.
All they're doing now is the product's available. It's just rewriting the manuals to be in English and installation and owner's manual.
Does it have power?
It does have power.
It has power.
It does have power. 8 times 25
8 times 25?
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Wow.
So the goal is sometimes somebody just might want to replace a factory amplifier that went bad.
Yes.
Or maybe there's a situation where somebody says, we're going to go an active system and we don't want to buy all these amplifiers for rear fill or something like that. You could use that to power that, or just tweeters. Maybe you're going to use a mid-level power.
Yeah.
So there's some applications for it. A
So
considerable amount of...
first thing comes to my mind is going to be a Prima, 801 or whatever the heck it's called. Is it
8.9.
Yeah.
Um,
But with the Prima, you had no output to go to an amplifier. Does this have outputs to go to amplifiers?
yes.
So this has summing capability inputs.
Very basic summing.
Very basic summing?
Yeah.
Like 6-channel summing or like 8-channel summing?
You know, I've never gotten a clarification
That's
on
okay.
that. 6-channel high and low input, but
so
I don't think they sum.
Well, I think in the video he said summing. I think he said it had summing. So
I was just told basic.
All right, well, basic's fine. All I need is tweeter and mid.
Right. For the people you just chime in, this is John, the rep of Alpine, Kicker, Audison Hertz,
Viper,
Directed.
directed,
a lot of
power
brands.
acoustic, wet sounds. So what we're going over with John today is he just got back from CES. He was in our end of the year show last year, the last show of the year. We brought him back today so we can talk about all cool things CES. Right now we're talking about Alpine. We're talking about the new Alpine DSP that's coming out that apparently has 8 channels of 25 watts built into it, along with preamp output. So there's going to be a lot of things you're going to be able to do with this.
6-channel in, 8-channel out, 32-band, 31-band graphic parametric EQ.
And it uses Tune It, I believe.
No, I do not see that it does offer Tune It.
Really? I could have swore I saw. Okay. Well, there is a. Okay.
All right, Jason say is bridgeable.
No.
Okay.
So we know there's a DSP coming out, so that's a positive in some direction.
Going to give you high and low pass crossovers each channel, and then up to 20 milliseconds of delay per channel also.
Which is the time correction.
Yep.
12 channel.
4-volt pre-out.
12 channel. Full range. Oh, it's got 12 channels of output. Which
12
is
channels of
6.
yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot of output. It's going to be a really cool piece. Obviously, as more information comes out about it, we're going to get into that and talk more about that Alpine piece. How did it look? I got to be honest. Did you see
The basic controller looks similar, what I would say is the Alpine fit finish on the external side. Look good.
Okay, because that's a lot of the grief with some of these DSPs is the controller just looks butt ugly.
The Alpine piece looked good.
Okay, well,
I've
that's
seen
good.
it installed in
Sound
a
isn't
car in December.
What's that?
The sound isn't
The sound
working.
is kind of.
People have been complaining.
I don't know. It's this. I don't know. We had a problem last week with sound.
Yeah.
They're breaking up badly. Okay, so I just put a new battery in the mic, so we know that's not the mic. All right, give me 1 second. I think we gotta call these guys out here again to have them.
Yeah, we're supposed to like upgrade the internet, and apparently nothing. So, yeah.
Have you encountered this before?
We had a problem last week, but we didn't. We thought it was the microphone, so we'll probably have to get the goofball internet people out here to check the speed and see what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so and remember, this is always going to be up next week. I mean, tomorrow on YouTube.
Yep.
All right, so I think is that pretty much it for Alpine? Can you think of anything else?
Let me just, we went over, obviously, some new singled-in pieces. They
Yeah, there's
came out
3
with
new singles.
a restyle. They upgraded the Jeep X209. They put off-road mapping in it. Came out with more vehicle-specific stuff for the Jeep. We came out with a upgraded i209 for GM.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So Silverado and Sierra has one piece that is mechless, but has CarPlay and Android Auto also, for a $19.99 retail price point, where you can put a 9-inch in the dash of a Sierra or Silverado. One unit, you don't need 2 SKUs, where it's switchable for Silverado or Sierra for the red or blue lighting.
Okay.
So some vehicle-specific stuff that they've committed to. Obviously, the Halo covers a lot of the universal restyle, or what you get with the restyle, and then new Type S speakers and some additional amplifiers. Yes, the KTP.
Okay. So let's talk Kicker.
Yep.
Kicker came out with the key.
Yes.
That I'm sure is what you were hinting about last time you were here.
Yes.
and it's very intriguing.
Yes.
And I'm going to leave it at very intriguing. What the hell?
You know, this goes back to there's some patents that they're waiting for approval on.
Okay.
And that will be their entree into the integration market.
Okay.
Okay. So in the past they have a sum 8, which is a summing piece.
Yep.
And then you would have analog crossover or analog EQ. Okay.
Right.
And then they introduced the technology where it was built into the amplifier in the Q class, where you have time alignment and parametric EQs that you can control through an app.
Correct.
Okay. And a lot of times they look for, maybe the introduction was simplicity. So now you have a 4 times 45 watt amplifier, and it's designed to go into a vehicle and it's got a pre-built EQ curve in it, into the curve, but it comes with a microphone, so you will tune it and it will adjust that curve to the acoustics of that car.
So it's got a 40 band EQ to do this, and everything you can turn off. So it's got dip switches for everything. So if you don't want time correction, you can turn that off. If you don't want the EQ, you can turn that off. There's all these little switches on the side.
Okay.
I mean, I did my homework. Come on. So they had to have talked about it out there with you, I'm assuming.
They did.
Did you hear it?
I did sit in the car.
Did they turn it on and off?
Yes.
Was it that good?
I will say there is a
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, there's definitely a difference, right?
Okay.
You could use factory speakers or you could use aftermarket speakers. You're definitely going to be able to get more power. It's going to change the EQ curve in the car.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So it's a simple way of upgrading your audio and not having to. By the way, you don't have to. They're going to recommend you run a lead to the battery, but you don't have to.
Really?
Okay. So it's very efficient. It's got processing like you're familiar with. It does have time alignment. What you're probably thinking of is you want to be able to get these controls yourself. I think that is.
I want the box.
That comes out in time.
So this is okay. So I saw you could do a couple different things with it. Like you could use it as just a front stage, so you could use it as bi-amps. You could do tweeter, mid-range with it.
Yeah.
And then, so what my question would be, I don't know if you're going to have the answer to this. Could you use multiples of them in a car? So could you do like a front one and a rear one?
Yes. I was told I was at a tech training and that question did come up. Yes. What you would have to do is time alignment. You'd have to disconnect that amplifier.
Do one at a time?
Do one at a time.
Really?
Okay.
I think that would screw things up.
Does it have it? Okay, so we'll obviously it's still a new product, and we'll learn more about it as time
goes on. Well, hang on, I got a
on.
question for you.
Okay.
What happens if I were to offer to get one of the kicker techs to come in for one of your events here?
You mean Kip or Dave?
Maybe
Kip and
we-
Dave? Well, of course, I always want anybody who wants to come in. I'm glad. The audience loves this.
Yes.
This is the questions to be able to ask you guys this. So
Okay.
naturally, anytime
So-
anyone could come in.
Even John Myers, who's been on quite a few TV shows for Kicker,
Yeah.
we can coordinate where we bring in some of these.
Yeah,
tech
I mean, there again, and we would love to have anyone that wants to come on the show, and that's fine. Like I told them we're not going to be able to answer some of the really techie questions.
You can tell for us I do.
Okay.
And
There
I'm
you
just
go. Yes, he does.
I do represent the Escort radar detector
yep.
products, yes.
Yeah. So, does it have any? Do you know if it had any form of an output? Like, can you output?
No.
So it's just literally in, done. Okay.
Yep.
So it's going to be very niche-y, we'll say.
It is, and I'm going to point out, remember, I can get myself in trouble here.
Yeah, I know, and I don't want you to.
I'm going to say the most obvious thing I said is no subwoofer output,
Yes.
right? And I'm going to leave it at that, right? We sell a lot of subwoofers.
Yeah, and it has no subwoofer output. Okay, so
So I was like,
why would it even matter? Okay. James would like to come in, and we'd like to have you in.
Yeah.
It's a long flight, though.
This is cool.
Haley loves your voice. Okay, the trash can.
oh, you're talking about the
Yeah,
tube, the tube woofer.
Yeah, so it's like it's
Vertical or
it's
horizontal?
those boxes in a tube.
And a tube, yeah.
So it's got
The
a
inside
passive
is really
radiator
cool.
and
Correct.
a subwoofer,
Yes.
Correct.
and you can
Depending on how you mount it, comes with both bracketry.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So it really comes down to how do you aesthetically, how do you want it to look in your application? But
Right.
B, the question was, well, do you load the woofer or do you load the passive radiator?
Which is a good question.
And it comes down to you're going to have to listen to it both ways.
Okay,
to
so
make
there's
that
no
determination. Yeah.
Now, Paul saw it, and the first thing he says, "Oh wow, that would probably work in a Jeep."
It's not weatherproof.
But they recommend putting. It's like they say you could take it on like a boat and stuff like that.
Okay.
All right. Good answer. All right. Speaking of boats, I saw that we
Yes.
came out with new marine amplifiers.
New marine amplifiers gives us a 6-channel amplifier in the
Yeah.
line that we've wanted in our
Desperately.
marketplace. So you have that, and
Yep.
that is all built on the. Kicker has the yellow line,
Yes.
the red line, and the blue line, and the new marine amplifiers are built on the yellow line of the Kicker automotive side.
Which I'm excited about
Yeah, you guys do really well with
because
that.
we do really well with that. And there's another competitor that we have that makes an amplifier at that similar price point that I would much rather sell that stuff for than just because of the mounting options, the easier
a
install.
little bit different size, but I've had some customers that do a lot of these amplifiers.
Yeah, and I like them.
And they say you might pay a little bit more for it up front, but overall performance and durability, reliability, it's
Well, I'll agree wholeheartedly with that. The one thing that I always laugh about is like we have customers that come in every year, and Paul sells a $40 set of marine speakers,
Yeah.
and every year they come in and buy the same $40 set of marine speakers, and it's that. Why did Alpine think it was necessary to rebrand the Type R to R series, and not change the speakers at all?
I thought the product actually did change, James. So at least that's what I was told.
He's in New Zealand, so they get a little bit different Alpine than we do.
Okay. No, I'm under the impression the product we're selling is a new.
Like their Type R looks like RZ.
Really?
Yeah, because I was looking. He was pulling something out of a door, and they definitely get a different set of Alpine than we do. So I don't know.
I don't have the answer to
New
knowing
Zealand?
the product he has compared to the product we sell.
Yeah, because they also have like on their Pioneer stuff, they have steering wheel control capabilities built into them. We're told they're sonically better.
That's a good way to put it.
Well, I know when R changed the whole series, when they changed from when they did that upgrade, what, a year or two ago?
Had to be longer than that.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
That was a big difference in sound, but physically they look exactly the same. Oh, well, that's Alpine.
That
We
was
can
Type
shine
X
it
from
up.
years ago.
And make it look. I saw that one. That he did it. He just took out an 11-year-old Type X series, which I don't even think we had Type X 11 years ago.
There was. No, they called it.
We had the DD Drive.
Okay.
They have a T. I think they also have a D series still over there. It's like a DD. I don't know. Anyways, so we have the PSR 60s now, or the RS 60s.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And it looks like the red slash. That must be the red slash because they put the red slash on the box last year. I know, and that was a big difference. Because it has a red slash on the box.
RS65, yeah.
So back to Kicker.
Yes.
We talked about the tube. We talked about the cool little amp. We talked about the marine stuff.
Yep. You didn't talk about the new tower speakers, so a 9-inch and an 11-inch tower.
Is it 11 inches?
11-inch.
Wow.
11-inch tower.
I couldn't
speaker.
tell.
Yeah.
But it's got the horn in it.
Weighs just under 40 pounds, I'm told.
Holy wow.
Yeah. So I have some pictures. I thought I might have sent you some.
You did.
And
You taunted me for like a half hour.
yeah,
It was great.
The reality is the tower speaker business is. I work with a couple products in it now, and a lot of it's always get loud and get loud and get loud.
Yeah.
And, they're just saying, hey, we want to build something a little bit bigger, something that gets loud, but has a little bit different sound quality to it, right?
Right.
So
Now, by sound quality, you're talking about the stuff he said he would never do?
no.
Because
well,
I remember that conversation. He would never. He said he would never
wasn't
get it.
going to do that, right? This stuff.
Okay.
This stuff sounds.
Sounds good.
I listened to it. I think it sounds decent for what it is. Remember, you got a big horn in the middle of a driver,
Yes.
and it's a big driver to begin with. And I think they
8 or
they
11,
jammed them.
Jesus.
They had 4 11s on a pontoon boat there that got pretty loud with some 12-inch woofers with it too.
Now that speaker only comes in the tube or in the
tower speaker.
Yeah.
So they come in pairs, either white or black.
Right.
Comes with a stainless steel mount. The mount also, without tools, will swivel 359 degrees. Comes with lighting built in it also. So you release a latch and you can turn the speakers any way you want. Also.
Do they just come off too?
No, you need a tool to take them physically off.
Oh, okay.
And the one unique thing is that the construction of the cabinet that it's in is we'll say a polycarbonate or like a plastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got a lot of weight and a motor there.
Yes.
So they build
I saw the build out of that thing.
Correct. They have a bracket that holds all of that weight, and that bracket attaches directly to the stainless steel mount, so it takes all the weight off the enclosure itself.
So it's not like a Dodge Dash. That's good.
Well,
Okay, so now that we're talking about kicker, the best shallow mounts.
Come on.
Well,
Comp RT.
Comp RTs.
Well, okay.
hang on. You got two
Okay.
shallow mounts, CVT or Comp RT.
Well, the Comp RT.
Comp
the CVTs.
RT. We
the
love the
CVTs
Comp
suck.
RTs. Yes.
And I've always thought that. But since we're talking about woofers,
Yeah.
they had a new woofer.
Had a new square L7R.
There you go for Steven.
Now, okay, so I'm not. All right, talk about it.
Sure.
Because when I saw the video, I don't want to do your.
Years ago, Kicker had come out with a lower. Well,
The L3.
They had an L3, we had an L5.
They're right there.
Yeah,
Right?
we still have
So the issue you have is that a square woofer is bore and stroke, right? So you have more moving mass and you have more excursion, gets to move more air in a car. So
Right.
the concept of a square driver. But now you need the current L7 line is not as efficient as maybe as a Comp R is. You need more power
Lot more
to
power.
drive that speaker.
Okay.
So now that was the concept is we're going to come out with we'll put the motor on it like the Comp R,
Okay.
and now it doesn't need as much power to drive it, but give you the enhanced ability to move more air with a square cone.
So we have a lower power handling, more affordable LR or L7R.
Correct. Lower power handling, more efficient, because not everybody needs
An L7.
1,500 watts to.
And
Yes.
a 500-pound box.
Yes.
Somebody
say kicker need 18-inch or 21.
Well, that would be the old Solo X. They had the Solo X 18.
Well, they had a square 18, but understand the concept of a square 15 is the amount of moving mass of a round 18.
Yeah. I mean, I built
I don't
the
know how
box.
many. I don't know how many square 15s we're moving. Don't get me wrong. I'll take square 18, square more. Just bring it. But
Exactly. Build it, I'll sell it.
I'm getting more calls for shallower drivers than I am
Yes.
bigger drivers.
Yeah, I mean, the Comp RT, we've said a bunch of times on here, that's our favorite woofer. That's our go-to shallow mount woofer.
Yes.
Kicker got it right. It has deep bass. It sounds good out of the box. I don't have a 20-day break-in period.
Yep.
Just put them in, bang, done, go.
That's right here.
So I'm it's one of the products that Kicker makes that I just am like
a
totally happy with. Yeah, because I mean, look, the CVT and the 10 other little shallow things, whether it was a gray cone or a black cone or had a silver cap or a black cap, they all sucked. And I told them that. I said, these suck. And they're like, oh, no.
Really? I just could never see.
I could never see me saying that. And, and the thing was, I always got the same answer. You need a break-in period, break-in period. And then we had a guy come in that had him in his truck for a year.
Yep.
And we were like, dude, these sound amazing. What kind of speaker is this? And he was like, and we flipped up the seat, and it was a set of CVTs, and we're like, oh my God.
Never heard him sound that good, huh?
Never had him here. So I was like, but still, I can put a set of Comp RTs in, and it's like, bam, boom, sound great today. They sound even better 2 weeks from now, and I can only imagine a year they sound even better. So I like great today and even greater as we go forward.
Yeah.
So, all right, so anything else for Kicker that we might have missed?
Covered the towers. We covered the round tubes. Covered the flat squares. We covered the key. I think we're on point.
And I know for all the Motorsport guys, they came out with a whole line of Polaris.
SSV works in combination.
Yeah.
They make products for the General, the Razor, and I know there's one more I'm missing, but definitely we're going wider in a product mix, right?
Yeah.
In sport utility and in the marine category, right? Is the car. There's not much more Kicker can come out with that's going to be unique to the car. They've got a lot of products.
They got a lot of products.
Hundreds of products.
Yes.
Okay, so, but we understand the lifestyle, and people who like to jam to their stereo or enjoy good fidelity, they own boats and they own power sport vehicles, whether it's a Harley Davidson or a UTV side-by-side type device, they have it.
All right, so let's talk about the next guy. Audison Hertz.
Yeah.
I really like the picture. I really like the pan through the room with the bathroom in the corner. That was sexy. They could have shut the door.
Sometimes, when you're firing from the just trying to get it done, right?
Yeah. So I'm guessing just by looking at that, they had the Bit Nova.
Yep.
Was the big Audison thing. Audison Prima also came out with their European line, the 8-inch or the 7-inch front underneath the seats of the BMWs.
Yep.
And then the perfect fit for the door speakers.
Yep.
For what they call BMW Mini. So I'm guessing they had those there.
Had all of the new products there, and you don't get to hear it all because they don't have that vehicle there.
No,
right?
not anymore.
So to us, you go and you get a lot of the, from a rep perspective, you're going for programs, policies, procedures, price sheets, what's changed, what evolves, and we don't always get a little amount of time that maybe you would want on touching and listening to product. And I get to Vegas on Saturday, and first thing Sunday morning, you're in a meeting till Sunday night. Monday, the same thing, start to finish, and then Tuesday the show opens, and it goes quick,
Right.
And then Thursday night you get on a plane, and I didn't stay for the last day of the show. You get on a plane, and boom, you're gone, and you say, well, there was a week just gone.
Yeah, it's just a void.
You send a bunch of boxes back with all the literature and programs and everything. And next thing you know, you're unpacking it and you're just trying to figure it out. I got a backpack that filled with stuff all in my briefcase, and you bring it all to Paul and spend time trying to get you guys up to speed with it also.
We tried to stay up to speed as much as we could throughout the week. So then their big push was obviously those two products for Audison, and then Hertz was the CeeLo greens, or whatever they're called. Cello.
So it's I heard it explained to me. Let me see. It went like 1, and then
Dici's 1.
Dici's 1, and then the cello is
10.
Yeah, Millie's 1,000. Right? So
or was it 10 or 100? Maybe the cello was 100.
Cello's 100.
Cello's
I think
100.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And Millie's 1,000. Yeah.
And so then that's taking over the high energy.
Yeah. There'll be 2 high energy speakers, a 6x9 and a 6.5. That's it.
That's it. And then did they, like the cello line or CeeLo green line, whatever it is, only has like 4 speakers in it. Like it has a set of 6.5 components, 6.5 coaxials, 6x9.
Okay.
Did they expand? Did you?
I can go grab my book to confirm.
No, that's okay. Okay, so other than programs and fun, I'm guessing that's all Electromedia was concerned with. We
spent a lot of time talking about understanding the bit, right? And the new bit that they introduced is based on the software of the. And this is good for you, right? It's good on the Prima software, so it's a lot simpler to set up than maybe a Bit 1 or a Bit 10.
Okay.
It's a different platform to set up. So there's got some benefits there from an installer's point of view, right?
Right.
Everybody's got little different graphic user interfaces and things like that, and that's where a lot of guys are telling me that it will be easier to go to that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. Wet Sound. Were they there?
No, they don't go. They do SEMA, but they will be in Florida here next month for the Miami Boat Show. But there's nothing that, other than there was a rolling change on their SD line of amplifiers to SDX. There's been no changes. They introduced the Revo last year, which is a whole new line of coaxes, 6-inch, 8-inch, and 10-inch coax. And they introduced a new 12-inch woofer, but there's been no changes in that line.
So, all right, let's talk about Power Acoustik for like 2 minutes.
Okay.
They had the big 10-inch screen.
Had 10-inch screen.
Did they change the whole line like they do every year?
No. If anything, they contracted the line because of how broad it was, right? So they did introduce a CarPlay piece, right? So
Okay.
the end of last year, they started shipping a CarPlay piece in the the SoundStream line. They will introduce one in the Power Acoustic line also.
That is a 7-inch or 6.2.
I believe it's I got to look for a second, but I'm thinking it's 6.5. But don't hold me to that right now.
Real quick, did you get a chance to hear any of the new CeeLo Greens?
No, I did not.
Okay. So we have no idea how they sound. All right. You know what? Let's go to Viper.
Yep.
Okay, because they introduced a new product this year.
Yep. 2 new products.
Okay, I know of one. Tell me about them.
Okay,
Tell me.
so we talked about it briefly with Kicker with the power sport category, right? And
Yes.
people, right? So they introduced a power sport alarm, UTV, ATV type device, low current draw, 1-button transmitter, be able to add a security system to a UTV type device. Okay, so that was a new introduction. Motorcycles as well. All right, then you introduced a power sport version of a Smart Start to it for vehicle tracking. Okay. So geofencing, things like that for theft. Okay?
Right.
So you have 2 new pieces, conformally coated boards, weatherproof, waterproof harnesses on them.
Okay. Right.
So power sport, just getting a little bit wider. Okay. But I want to go back to something they showed with the DS4's product we started shipping last year.
Right.
And it's our new platform that does remote start and security and capability of security. And has the interface, all right? So cars with CAN bus, 2006 newer, you need to be able to communicate with the car from an analog conversation to a digital, all right?
Yes.
So the DS4 has built-in Bluetooth. So what makes this unique is there's technology they showed where you're now going to be able to interface a siren that will communicate via Bluetooth to the brain. You won't have to run a wire through the firewall.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Power and ground and done, huh?
So you have that ability. You also be able to add what we call PKE type device, which is passive keyless entry.
That's where you just walk up to it.
You just walk up to it, will automatically unlock your car, right? You don't have to reach for your phone to unlock the car or grab a transmitter to unlock the car. It will automatically do it.
So it sounds exactly. So it sounds like they're finally taking cues from like the home audio or the home alarm side of things that have like all passive, simple programmable systems that work off of things like that.
I'm not in tune with the home side, but I look at that Bluetooth technology as just the tip of the iceberg. What you'll be able to do with it.
Well, I mean, they keep changing that, like you said, it's the DS4 now. A year ago it was something else.
5X10, 4X10.
And the year before it was a version of those. So, I mean, it's like every year they're getting a little better with this. How much attrition do you think it even has left to keep developing it, though?
Well, I would say a couple of years ago I was in San Diego, or Vista is what we call it, and they were saying that approximately 18% of the cars...
Wayne loves them, by the way.
Yep. DS4.
Ah, that's a good thing to hear.
Yeah,
See?
no doubt, right?
So they say 18% of the cars manufactured come with remote start, and
it's only 18%?
18% of the cars...
I would feel it would have to be that, only because of how much remote start business these guys up north do.
Do it.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, 18... All right, so... I don't know where to go from there. You got any questions, Fernando?
Actually, just Kicker and the Alpine.
Just
Yeah.
A lot of
That's
questions.
it.
All right, so let's go back to those two brands for just a second.
Yeah.
You got to play with the Halo. You got to touch it.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, 33 years going to CES.
32.
32 years. 32 years going, and you.
And I went when I was 20, so cut me a break.
Well, yeah, I know Dad took you. So you've seen a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like every year we're trying to get excited about the same round wheel. Like it's, hey, guess what the wheel is this year?
It's round.
It's round.
Yeah.
You know, the next year it's guess what the wheel is this year? It's round. Guess what the wheel is this year?
Still round.
It's still round. So knowing that and seeing the Halo, and I mean you've been Alpine's rep for what 2 years
2
now?
years.
2 years now, and you came in right at the beginning of Restyle.
No, I came in midway through Restyle.
Well, I mean, basically where Restyle actually started to evolve into something.
Okay.
Because before that there was like this radio, and that's it.
Okay.
You know, and maybe a couple products that they ended up not actually working.
Never heard that.
Exactly. So, looking at the Halo,
Okay.
yes,
Everybody improves, right?
Yeah. No doubt.
I want to say that they look at areas to improve, maybe weaknesses, right? I will tell you that Halo, what I really liked is you could put it in a dash, and they had it in some mocked up dashboards, and it's very solid. You could take the dashboard and shake it, and it wasn't like this radio was flimsy or it shook or if the vibrates. It just looks like the finish and the way it's designed, where you could put it in so many different vehicles, where you could adjust the application. They've definitely done their homework, right?
Well, I mean, Alpine has always had a nice look. I mean, I've always been a fan of Alpine's look. I feel like they don't go for the flash, they go for the look. You know, they try to go for refined as opposed to, look at me, I'm a strip club. You know?
Okay.
I mean, that's just my thought. It's like they have big square buttons, they have dials, you know, they have knobs like that radio right there, the double din CD player. You know, when you look at like that, the Kenwood or the Pioneer, that looks elegant to me.
Okay.
You know, so I feel Alpine has always tried to go for the elegant look, not necessarily on the cutting edge of technology, but as I always explained to me, Alpine has felt that they're not going to be first to push a technology. They want to make sure it's proven and up to their standards before. So,
well, I'll say this. You know, when I became the rep, we had just invested a lot into the Restyle product, and last year they introduced the wireless CarPlay, right?
Yeah,
and you know, and there's I think I had caught one of your segments on it, and you know, there's some people out there saying, well, it doesn't do Android. Hey,
it's not what it's for.
It's not, you're an iPhone person. This is a perfect platform for you. If you're a hardcore Apple person, this is a great piece, wireless. I've noticed that some of our competitors have now introduced Android wireless. And
yes.
I guess it all comes down to what phone you carry in your pocket.
Well, that brings us to another question. In those meetings where they're talking deep, dark secrets and things you're not supposed to talk about, and we're forecasting to the future, did any of that topic come up?
Topic of what? Wireless.
Let's say
Android?
wireless Android or updating an ILX. At your level?
At my level, I'm not provided any of that. I'm just told what to go do.
Okay, but I figured as much. Don't
get me wrong. They, I'm happy with many of the manufacturers I represent. Right, and I always tell you that they do listen to the street up. Right, so manage from the top down, but they'll listen from the street up. And what
they tell you to go pound sand.
Yeah.
Well, they might not always agree with what we want. Right? What the store... Look, I've told you, whether it's a loudspeaker conversation, that's just certain things they're not going to do.
Right. Which is fine.
Yeah, and but they'll listen to what people have to say, and they're going to give you their answer, the way their philosophy and their logic, the way they do it.
And that's perfectly fair.
So, if you remember the last show we did, somebody actually commented, if you know the meaning of the 5 lines.
Do you know? Did you memorize it?
I didn't memorize it. I have to.
Hold on.
I have it.
I know. You sent it to me.
Yeah.
And you were excited. Okay. What are they, John?
Engineering, marketing, service, manufacturing, and partners.
So now the question is, I wonder what came first, the chicken or the egg? And that, I mean... Did they always have 5 lines, and someone had to go, you know what, we got these 5 lines, someone wants to know what they mean? Because some of these are just silly. I mean...
Oh, it's all from a partnership point of view perspective. It wouldn't be something that the consumer would ever ask, why are those 5 lines before Alpine? But it gives us a conversation to open up maybe a meeting to our partners to say, here's what here's what we believe in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, all right. Now, kicker.
Yeah.
When are they going to have us come out? That's what I want to know.
Well, going to have to wait a little bit before they go. They had a little problem at the. I heard how they had a 8-inch water line break in the building like Christmas Day. So there's a little bit of a delay for bringing people to Oklahoma right now.
Oh, Oklahoma.
But we could bring somebody here.
I would love that.
We will do that.
Yeah.
We will have. We'll bring a tech guy in, 2 to 5-star, and we're going to do a little Facebook Live with one of the guys. And I don't know if you want to bring product or play.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah.
We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Same thing with Alpine. I have a product specialist that lives here in Florida now that you really want to...
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Eric Brooks.
Wow, is he a new guy?
Eric worked for the previous rep firm.
Okay.
And is very, very knowledgeable and has worked with Alpine for a long time. And he went away from the business for a little bit, and Alpine had an opening where they said we need to have a dedicated product specialist.
Yeah.
And Eric is our new product specialist for Alpine.
Wow.
And I figure we'll start traveling next week. He just spent 8 days in Las Vegas helping build the booth and get...
yeah, and see, that was the part of the job description I glossed over.
Yeah, building.
Like build. Okay, moving on. So, all right.
Is the PDX V9 the #1 selling Alpine?
Nope.
No, it's the MRV M500 if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, 501. And that has been the #1
amplifier.
selling Alpine amplifier for years.
But recently, and I think in the #1 selling to Alpine, I think currently it is like the #2 selling amplifier, and according to the data, but you know who the #1 amplifier?
Yeah.
Nope.
Really?
Nope, you missed the bulletin.
I wouldn't doubt it. I've been kind of busy.
CX 600.1. Kicker.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I love that amp.
Wow.
I really do love the CX amplifiers.
It's just a base upgrade, 600.1 or the MRV M500 to #1 and #2 selling amplifiers.
Well, aren't you happy?
Oh, really?
Be part of that.
So, all right. So back to the original thing. Car audio aside, when, like you said, the car manufacturers was that where it was. I mean, I know you're busy as shit. Meeting. Sorry about the cuss word. Meetings the whole day. And you've been there. You've seen it. You've done it. But someone had to say, "Hey, John, did you see this?" And you walked over there and you were like, "Wow." Did you have that moment?
There was a Mercedes I had that moment with right behind the kicker booth that looked really nice.
Yeah?
Had nothing to do with the audio side, I'm sorry, but the car was really a good-looking car.
Okay.
But the new Jeep was there.
Really?
Got me excited. Yeah, the new JL. The new JL, the replacement to the JK was there, and
Holy cow.
they'll be shipping a 2018 here, and I think that it's going to be time to build one.
What does the dash look like in it?
It's all over the internet, but I've
totally
they have
missed
3
it.
options.
Okay.
They have an 8.4 option.
Okay, so they brought it up into what the current line of
so
dashes is.
I guess probably the
be a
Sierra will have an 8.4. There'll be a 7-inch, and the next one will be there will be a 4-inch version. So they're gonna have 3 radios. It's either a 4-inch, a 7-inch, or the 8.4.
I'm gonna have to do some research on
the
this.
The X209 will be a running change. Right, we went to a weatherproof 9-inch display for people who like to drive with their tops off and maybe get caught in a shower. So now they've introduced off-road mapping to the X209, right? Which those are features that the JL Jeep Wrangler have from the factory on the 8.4. It is weatherproof and it has off-road mapping.
All right. So Wayne say, we sell tons of the MRV 500 here, and the M1200 is my favorite amp.
Well, I'd be curious is what's the speaker combination he likes to put on those 2 amplifiers, right? Is he a single woofer on the M500, and which one is it? And then the 1200, what's the speaker combination he goes to there? That would be my questions for him if it was the other way around. If I was out there, I could ask him if he was here.
Dwayne, real quick, it's a 47 microfarad cap, not a 4.7, and you will put it on the positive lead of the 3.5. Wow, so the new Jeep. So obviously the Alpine isn't going to fit in that.
So Alpine will have a model before the end of the year that will go in that vehicle.
Really?
Yes.
Awesome.
That's
what
I'm told.
Oh, well, I mean, how many Jeep radios are there? Do you even know? we were talking about this.
Currently, there's 2 vehicle specific, right? Or there's 3 vehicle specific, right? You have the 9-inch with a DVD mechanism and embedded navigation.
Okay.
And now with off-road mapping.
Right.
Then we have a 9-inch weatherproof that does not have the DVD, and it's CarPlay or Android Auto, both ways. The X209 or the i209 are both Android Auto CarPlay.
So that's 3 radios.
No, just 2.
Just 2. All right, so it'll do
X
iPhone.
or i209.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we have a 207, which is
That with the expensive dash kit.
Yes.
correct, with the kit, the Maestro, and all the harness
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything. When you add it all up, it's about the same.
It's expensive dash kit.
Is there a reason why Alpine never reproduced the Alpine flagship series like the F series?
I was
F1?
not a representative for Alpine when they delivered F1, and I think that the Type X is a step in that direction to F1, where it's a, I want to say maybe not just a price was no option, but cars today are different. I think the F1 crossover was a big crossover.
It was a monster crossover.
Yeah, and I think that space is limited.
Well, everyone's going micro. I mean, let's be honest. Kicker came out with the key
Yeah,
on a micro platform.
yeah,
Alpine came out with 2 new micro amplifiers.
yeah.
They're not the only ones that came out with micro amplifiers.
Oh.
The direct competitor to Kicker lowered the price on their micro amplifier significantly because they know everyone is coming out with micro amplifiers.
Smaller footprint.
I can only assume that next year we'll see even more of that from Kicker. I mean, they already have a micro platform for the ATVs.
That's
And
a question I don't know. If you don't mind, I'm going to look while you talk.
yeah. Will the Halo play movies off of a flash drive via USB? It does have an HDMI input,
Yeah,
so you can stream off your phone. Honestly, we've never even tested the 207 to see what kind of media it plays.
Media play with
That's probably going to be in the actual owner's manual.
HEAAC Music Playbook and AVI MPEG 4 video playback via USB.
Yeah, it'll have basic
MPEG
video
4.
playback.
Yep.
Have a great evening. You too, Jason. Take it easy, buddy. Go ahead.
Coming back, John. Jason.
Hey, thank you very much. As
How are
long
the
as
Hertz-
you guys keep inviting me.
How are the
I'll-
Hertz SPL show subs? And do you have a customer that buys those?
Yeah, a lot of the motorcycle guys love that stuff.
Really?
Big time, big time. It's definitely a bright driver and big horn, and that's where the predominant crowd goes, is right into the motorcycle guys.
So, over there in Miami, do you sell a lot of SPL Hertz?
Mids and tweets, no doubt about it. We have some customers that will do some of the amplifiers, but predominantly the motorcycle guys love that mid and tweet, that horn.
Loud.
Yep.
Okay.
To get the Halo in stock. When is it? When is the Halo shipping?
Told February.
All right, so there you go. I mean, obviously, as soon as we get it, we're going to do a review on that because it's probably the most popular. Definitely a lot of questions.
So Type X or QS? That's a good question. They've never had an A/B comparison done.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, one of our customers does have the ability to play both those, and I say, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? You got to hear it yourself before you.
You're not going to answer that question. You don't have to. I understand. I'll answer it for you. I've never heard the Q class, but the one thing that kind of discouraged me about the Q class is that they don't have... Kicker only has one component 6x9. It's that thing up there on the shelf, and it's really depressing.
Well, Paul just ordered more of the Alpine component 6x9s.
Yeah, because the X-type component 6x9 does sound amazing. It's so smooth. It's so nice.
I'll tell you, the Type X sound really good.
Yeah. Oh, they're
And I'm going to tell you,
off
I
the
think,
wall.
if I'm not mistaken, it's got a pretty simple crossover network.
Oh
that
yeah,
comes
no,
with
it's
it.
all basic.
Yeah,
It's just like the R-type.
There's no external crossover. It's an inline crossover.
Mm-hmm. We've
I
got
don't know-
plenty of videos up where we
Yeah.
talk all about it because it's
Yeah.
really awesome.
Okay, so when actually he replied, the 1200, he said we usually put a single 12 Rockford T1 shallow
Wow.
for the truck installs, and the 500 usually a couple of 10s, JBL's Infinity Rockford Kicker single 4-on.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, but they. I thought that MRV made most power at 2 ohm mono, not a 4 ohm mono.
It does.
Yeah.
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 Which, yeah.
So the SPL subs brand, or would be best to go in T1s?
So he's talking about Rockford versus the SPL. Isn't the SPL a loud sub though? I mean, isn't it a big mid-range? Isn't it built on that big mid-range platform?
I believe, the drivers have always been more lean towards that loudspeaker type driver.
Yeah, so, right.
I don't think it's going to, performance-wise, I don't know how to compare it against the T1. T1's a big driver, though.
Yeah, it's an SPL boom, boom, boom driver. Yeah. Is the SPL, is the sub. I mean, there again, I don't know how many of those you've ever sold or seen. Is the SPL a boom? Is the SPL line subwoofer? Is that a boom? Because I know like Pioneer has theirs.
I have no traction in that.
And it's not an SPL. It's not a deep bass driver. It's just a ta 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 ta.
Yeah.
Which is.
They had a little Fiat with a bunch of SPL in it.
And, all right, this is
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Only if I had 2 beers would I do that, so we're not going to do that tonight.
Hell yeah. 2 single 4-ohm woofers. There you go.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
2 single 4-ohms, that's going to give you a 2-ohm mono. I need a Halo unboxing. Oh, trust me, as soon as we get the Halo, we're going to unbox it.
Definitely. Microns.
And
Comcar Honor.
Rejoice, yeah. Okay, so any last words that you could think of? Anything that from CES or just any other product that you represent that we didn't talk about that you want to hit on?
I didn't notice much comments, and maybe I missed it because I was, talking to you.
Yeah.
Regarding what's the format of most choice? What's the listening format? What are they using as a source in vehicles? I'm trying to get this gauge on high res audio, or is it?
All right, we'll open that question up and see what we come up with. Huh?
Someone said Apple Music.
Yeah, somebody say Apple Music.
People
That
were
would
saying
be
like
cool.
Apple Music,
Yeah.
and at the beginning of the show there was a couple like basic stuff like that. But we know iPhone, Spotify, YouTube Music.
YouTube Music. I mean, what's the quality of YouTube Music?
It's garbage.
Yes.
Thank you, Haley. But that's okay. My philosophy on all that is we're in a society now where good enough is good enough.
The only reason why I ask is that it was asked to me years ago, and I put a full DA system in my truck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just don't see mainstream embracing it.
No.
Right? And we're talking about Toslink outputs, optical outputs, and to really get that level of what listening enjoyment, it all starts at the source, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And if the source stinks, then it's going to stink back. So
It's
Apple
either
Music,
Apple
XM.
Music or XM.
Yep.
See, to me, XM is just, I can't listen to XM. I can't listen to HD. HD irritates the crap out of me because it's just, when it does that compression, and it just gets, and it's like, oh, God. Oh, it's just, so.
Hey, I get it. I'm just, but it's too easy. You can get in and.
Oh, yeah.
Satellite radio, or I'm going to use Pandora or Spotify.
Right. And it's all coming from our phone.
Yes.
So, like you said, if I was a manufacturer, I would spend, like Alpine has the MX feature.
Yep.
And they have all these manufacturers have a ton of that form of equalization to make that sound better. To me, spending the money on that makes more sense than putting a Toslink output on the back of a radio that you're never going to benefit from.
Well, if you add an aftermarket radio and you do an Alpine, you can tune it and have 2 memory settings, right? So maybe you tune it for when you're listening to your premium fidelity stuff, and then you have a memory setting where you want to enhance the curve, change the curve a little bit. Just curious, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to see fewer and fewer radios be replaced as time. All you got to do is go to CES and see the vehicles on display and see. It's going to be very interesting.
Well, then that's what we've talked about. Like when we talked about, we did a video called the 5 Technologies of 2017, and one of those products was like it was the Amp Pro.
Yep.
And the competitors of that. So you have PAC that has Amp Pro, you have iData that has the AR,
Yep.
you have
Metra with the
whatever that thing's
Zero.
called.
Yep.
Yeah. And those products are definitely going to be the future.
Well, look, I think you have the audio control piece, you have the bit piece, You have Kicker coming with their piece. I imagine Rockford has their technology also.
Yeah, the DSR.
Yes, the DSR
Right?
one.
So you start adding this all up, and that's where you're going to have to figure out. Now it comes down to, what do you like to work with? You're the guy who has to put it in.
Right.
Right? And I noticed somebody saying on here that, they can't buy the QS speakers online, but they can buy the Type X online. Okay?
Right.
And, you're asking for an opinion, and I don't know what they're listening.
Well, yeah.
Right? So
exactly.
now you're going to put these videos up to show you how to do maybe some of this integration, but now it comes down to tuning the vehicle.
Well, that's always going to be the issue. Okay, we had done a show where we were talking about things that I want to see more of, and the reason why the key was so was because Pioneer has auto EQ built into their radio, where
Yep.
you just take the microphone, it's the same processing engine they have in their home piece. You plug the microphone in, you put the mic where the head goes, you hit tune, you shut the doors, 5 minutes later, you open the doors up, you pull the mic out, you turn it on, and it sounds pretty good.
Yes.
It's not great, it sounds pretty good. To me, I look at it as a good starting point. We always just use it as a starting point.
Now what happens is when you're not replacing that radio, what do you have?
Well, you're stuck with garbage, and so we need something. That's what I'm saying. Okay, we have a bit tune.
Yeah.
Okay, and I realize that's a sledgehammer to do this, and they say, hey, this is the best thing out there. Plug the bit tune in, do this, let it do its thing, and it'll tune that.
Gives you a good baseline
Yes.
to go from there. It can save hours of work.
But you still have, for example, we were talking. The Rockford has the DSR1, which is their new blah blah blah, like the Alpine piece, and even the Alpine piece. We'll just use the Alpine piece with Tune It.
Okay.
You have a 9-band parametric EQ.
Yep.
Okay, they divide it into 3 bands, low, mid, high,
Yep.
which is a much improved over the previous version.
Yep.
But it's a parametric EQ.
Yes.
Okay. Most people have a hard enough time with just a regular EQ. Now you're given a parametric EQ with selectable frequencies and adjustable Q, and you're going, have fun.
Well, on top of it, even installers struggle.
Oh, dude!
Yes.
I went to the audio control training. That they flew in Chris Bennett. I don't know if you've ever met him.
I did.
Okay.
At CES.
So they had Chris Bennett there. They had it build their new facility.
Yep.
There was 7 dealers there,
Yep.
and Chris asked the question. I'm sitting in front row, because that's what I do. And Chris asks everyone, "Hey, how many of the shops here have RTAs?" And of course, I'm like this, because we have. Well, now we have 5 or 6 of them.
I was going to say, I know you have several.
Yeah, and we just bought a new one. And I raised my hand, and I didn't look behind me to go like this. And at the break, Chris goes to me, "Hey, you realize you're the only guy that raised their hand?" And I'm like, "What?" There's 7 other shops here, and none of them had RTAs. So
maybe it was too early and they couldn't raise their hand and they were tired.
No, this was much later into the thing. But my point was, what? How do you not have an RTA? Even a basic one that just plugs into the phone. But
how about an app on your phone?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just like the basic app on your phone that you can buy, the mic you plug into your phone, and you can do it
those
from there.
mics up there, those fancy mics you have.
I have fancy mics. Where do I have? Oh no, those won't work. That's not what they're used for. Those are
Actually, Audio Control make one.
Yeah, they make the iTest mic.
Yes.
That goes into an iPhone?
It goes to your phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
We use it all the time when we're trying to do audio tuning. But my point is that okay, so something like the key is great because it takes the guesswork out of it. Because my okay, at the end of the day, if it's so hard that these guys can't figure it out, they're going to get frustrated and they're going to say, "I'm done with this.
Yep.
I'm done with it. I wanted a good sounding system. I spent $500 on a DSP. I can't figure it out. I'm over this. Put it back to factory. Done.
Yeah.
Done." We had a guy last week drive 5 hours to come here and have us just tune Jacksonville to tune his little audio control piece because he's like, "Dude, I don't get it," and that's fine because he's only 5 hours away. But Midwest up in Oklahoma, where they're at, they might not have anybody that can do it because how much business is a guy in Oklahoma doing? or the Midwest? How much? So they're doing it on their own. That's why this channel is so popular, because those guys are like, hey man, I'm doing this myself.
Have you ever tuned cars on Facebook Live?
Yeah. Not on Facebook Live. We've done it in the videos.
But in the videos, yes.
We walked people through the process that we use to tune them. But we're also using $1,000 worth of RTAs to do it. I mean, we've talked about doing it with our ears and explaining to people what you're listening for and stuff like that. Oh, it's next to impossible. Because, I feel I have pretty good ears. And I can't hear anything, but I feel I have pretty good ears as far as I've learned to listen for specific sounds. And kind of like a blind guy learns to figure, the light out.
Okay.
I don't have the best hearing anymore. I mean, you probably don't either. We've been doing this way too long. So, I'm sure you get ringing at nighttime.
I have that.
Okay, so
I thought that was just like standard operating procedure.
Exactly. So, but I mean, I've learned what to listen for. I've kind of taught myself that, but there again, there's 27 years of doing it behind that to do that.
Well, I think sometimes you have to show the listener, right? What I mean by that is you can do it's like going to the eye doctor. Does this look better or does this look
exactly.
better? Okay.
Yeah,
so
right.
Listening, right? Do you like this or do you like this? And
right.
you can change the center where it comes up, right? Or the sound stage comes up from maybe lower in the door. Wow, right? But if they've never heard the difference, right? If you've never shown them some of these things that we can do, and you have to actually to hear it and see
and
it.
that's the thing. Okay, so now that brings us back to trying to convince someone to buy it, and they buy it, and then they can't magically do that. Whereas I think the key is going to be the key, and that's why I'm hoping that turns into more pieces.
I think there's the whole industry is now starting that, right? We're not going to bring you another amplifier you've never seen. You're never going to really see a speaker that you've never seen before.
Right.
But
except for 11-inch tubby is pretty something I've never seen before. Although I did see it. Morel used to have a 10-inch coaxial, but that was a long time ago.
Wet Sounds has a 10-inch coax, which is a beast for a coax. Really big tweeter in the front end of that thing and a big basket. But what's going to be interesting for anybody who puts the 11-inch tower speakers up. Now think about that, right? The tower.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You now have to mount the bracket, then you got to hold this
40 pound
piece up and lock it in place. Make the connections, right? So where are you going to put? You're going to rest it on your shoulder and get it, or is Dean going to hold that and he's going to?
Well, I can tell you, Dean will probably never get to do one.
Yes.
But that's okay.
We'll have to see if we can change that. We just want to see Dean doing an install outside. I'll make sure I send somebody down in August for that.
We have a mobile guy. We'll send him up there and do it. All right, so
actually, the last question. Randy said, "Did John stop by on his way fishing?"
No. You know what? I will say, somewhat. There's some truth to that. I will end up in Isla Mirada on Saturday and go fishing. So Saturday, we'll be there.
All right, so. The auto EQ on the audio control DSP amplifier should help put the auto EQ on the DSP, like on the audio controls DSP, they have an auto EQ section because their whole thought behind that piece was to build RTAs into the software. So when you buy their DSP, their software has an input RTA and an output RTA, and then you can see the curve, and then they also, so there's like 3 screens of what's coming in, what's going out, what you're doing, and then there's an auto button. And the auto button is actually really, really good. It's not perfect, but it's a great starting point.
Is there a microphone to hear it? Or
no, it's just looking at electric.
Okay.
So you still have to. Basically, it's the DEQ portion of it. So they're taking what's coming in and going, this looks like crap.
I believe that's what the Prima does also.
Yeah, same idea. And that's great. And then you can kind of tune it from there. And that's when we set an EQ, like a manual EQ, they have their DQ61, which is just old school knobs. We have an input RTA and output RTA, and we get it straight. And then we put in, and actually we use a audio RTA so that we can move what we, change it up a little bit from what it was. But we want to start with it as normal as possible.
You want it flat?
No, we don't want it flat. We want to start with it flat so we can go from there. So I don't want to deal with a crappy curve coming into it. I want zero.
Well,
and
zero
I can go,
canvas. Okay.
So I can go just like a regular head unit.
Yeah, but once you start boosting and cutting, you start altering sound, right? So
Yeah.
not all. I wouldn't want to make it flat and then build on top of it. I think you would start with what you're presented and then cut from there.
Well, that's why there's more than one way to skin a cat.
I can skin a cat.
It's fun.
Hey,
We did
there's
it.
Randy.
Did it in high school. So, okay. And there again, I don't claim to be the greatest when it comes
Hey,
to
I think
setting
Randy's
EQ.
been at CES more than I have.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Who's he work for?
Randy you met. Randy used to work with Kicker. Now Randy is the Kenwood regional manager for the West Coast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we got. All right. Cool. Yeah. Right. All right. Well, anything else? You good? I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't know if
John?
I get to come back.
You always get to
Oh,
come back.
yeah.
I'll have you back
Okay.
whenever you want to come. Anytime there's anything you ever want to talk about, I will have you back.
I got to bring I got to bring stuff though. I got to bring substance.
No.
No.
No, well, I mean, we can go all day just talking about car audio. We've been doing this long enough.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's easy to do. Danny Camacho just chimed in. What's up, Danny?
Hello, Danny.
So, I'm going to say let's call it. Let's call it a night. Ready to go? All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. How about your system, Dean? How about my system, Dean? How about my system, John?
Somebody say, now that your rep is here,
Oh,
Yeah.
you're going to order your system?
Why haven't
Okay.
we gotten this thing done yet, Dean?
Okay, to be fair, there was a lot of delay, with no fault of your own. We were hoping for something that didn't happen, and we'll move from there. And
How soon do you want to do it?
I don't. I really want to see the Halo piece before I make any
Okay,
decision.
then
There
we
you
go.
go.
Because
So,
I'm Kenwood's got those new products that are coming out, and I'm really excited about those. But I really feel the Halo piece is.
thank you, Wayne.
I don't know what your dash looks like in your car, but that piece will look.
Because I wanted the 207. At the end of the day, I was going to order a 207 and put that in the dash along with a bunch of other Alpine stuff, and I'm probably still going to get the X-Type. But I now that the Halo's coming out, I'm going to wait. I want to see what that looks like.
Do you want to build anything? Do you want factory locations?
I'm going straight factory, man. This has got to be something we could show people and make money off of. I'm not going crazy three-way set and all that. No, man. This is just like, here it is. This is what you can buy. Because at the end of the day, it's a tool to sell the product.
Yes.
And I'm building a tool to sell the product. I have to be able to take somebody out to my car and go, hey, this is what it sounds like. This is what we can do for you.
Yep.
Here we go.
You don't want a 6 and a tweet in the A-pod pillar.
No, I'm not doing that because we don't have the
Because
time.
people ask, can
We
you
don't
guys
have-
do this in my car?
And we don't
do it.
We don't have the time.
We
frame
don't
for
have
that.
the time to do it. So
Hey,
You know,
Danny.
I mean,
Something
we get a car for a day, and we have to do miracles in a day.
actually,
So
for hours.
I'll tell you
For hours.
Yeah.
the key is like you have up there, sound dampen, put it in there and put a right amount of power in it.
Oh yeah.
Tune it. The 209 gives you the ability to tune it also, down the line it.
Oh yeah. I
You
mean,
can
we
get
did a
that car to
great.
sound really good.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's the thing, and that's what we do, and that's our specialty. I mean, everyone knows what we're capable of doing, and we do a quality install. We make it as right as we can for the budget that you have. And if I'm going to build a car, it's going to be built on those principles. I don't want to go out and, even though I can, I don't want to build that because it's not something that Paul is down for. You
Well,
know?
he doesn't want to lock the bay up for the amount
Yeah.
of time that
Yes,
sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I have to build something that isn't necessarily what I might build if I was someplace else, but that's fine. It's fine. It's better than what I have now, which sucks because it's factory.
Well, you tell me you don't listen to your stereo much.
Because it sucks. I just bought new headphones. I just bought new Sennheiser limited edition Pink Floyd headphones.
Yeah, you like them?
Oh, they're freaking awesome.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, your companies don't make anything like these.
You don't know. You haven't auditioned anything.
Well, I know Kicker doesn't. Who else?
You don't know that. They make something.
Kicker
that's
made
pretty
something?
good. Yeah,
They
make
do,
some
but
Bluetooth.
they ain't like those. Dude, these things were.
you should bring one so we can test it.
Over the ear
over the ear.
headphones.
Oh, it's got to be over the ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are. I can only do.
They're
over
coming out with some over the ear noise canceling headphones here shortly.
Yeah, but these are Sennheisers. This is what they do.
What I see, like Kicker
Yeah,
made.
but they maybe don't have
Bluetooth
that
speakers.
kicker tune to it. You know?
Oh, okay. Yeah, they have that Sennheiser tune. Those crazy Germans. What are they thinking? All right, guys.
Thank you for watching.
We're gonna let you go. Thanks for watching. You guys have a great night as always. You can get tools at enftooldrawer.com. You need t-shirts at teespring/stores/5star. There's links, of course, and they've been displaying throughout the whole video. So if you still need anything, check it out. Getting real now. Okay. No, I'm always up for trying stuff. So yeah, anything that's cool, I will try. You guys have a great night as always, and we will see you later next time. Thanks, John. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
and bye.